understand, if you've never been in the position, your opinion doesn't really matter. Um, the best way to say it is, until you can walk it, you can't talk it. And a lot of teachers come into the school and they don't even last 2 weeks. Or a sub will come in just for one day and they will never return. This is what our education system has become. And so what I won't do is argue with people on social media who have never stepped a pinky toe in the classroom to tell me that my feelings are invalid because I've only been teaching for 2 years. This is a gaslighting type of thing where you have now shifted the onus on me as I didn't do enough, when the system as a whole wasn't there to support the kids in the first place. My name is Bianca Goolsby, and I'm here today to share kind of a follow-up based on the article that was published by the Times. I've written the article prior to the Times picking it up, and I'm very thankful for the publishing team at the Times for giving me the opportunity to really build awareness and to speak out in a global setting. I posted on my blog on my personal website, which is basically used for an informational website when people use me for other related services that don't relate to teaching. I've always been an entrepreneur before teaching. The reason why I started teaching was because when I was in middle school, there was a lot of things that I was going through in my life. I had recently lost my mother. I was figuring out about my sexuality. I was figuring out like who I was wanting to be. I had a lot of conflict with my family. My mother's side of the family pretty much disappeared on the face of the earth. And then I was only left with my father, and he always worked. So it was just me and my grandmother. And so my grandmother was the one to raise me, cultivate me, and really help me be the person that I've become. And she has always been a person in my life that told me that if I see an injustice that I should speak up. And my grandma has always been that type of person where I could call her up today and tell her something is not right, and she'll say, well, what are you going to do about it? What I won't do is I won't subject myself to some of the comments that I've received because I'm sharing my truth. The truth is the truth. I'm not trying to bash my school. I'm not trying to bash the district. This is a global issue that is happening everywhere. It just so happens that I'm working at a Title I school that is now recently labeled an achievement school, and I work for Hillsborough County. The reason why those details were added was because the Times requested it to be added in the Times. If you read my original article, prior to the edits from the Times, you will see that I never even mentioned my school. In fact, you will actually see pictures of the conditions of my school without me naming my school. It wasn't to bash the teachers that teach at the school. It was my experience. And so that's something that no one could take away from me. My experience is that we are so focused on data. We are so focused on testing, which, by the way, some of the people who actually wrote the standardized testing can't even pass the test. Or better yet, the people who vote for pushing this agenda for the standardized testing couldn't even pass it themselves. My piece was to talk about all the schools. There's a lot of schools everywhere that are experiencing the same conditions, if not worse conditions, currently in 2019. We have parents that do not even put any energy or effort or intentionality into their children's learning. And then we have an expectation that that child is going to learn and want to learn when that expectation is not set at home. I only had one parent come to me for conference night, which conference night is designed for parents to come meet the teachers in an open setting. We even had a new principal, and our new principal invited everyone to come out, and we still didn't have the turnout that we need to effectuate change. That's not our principal's fault. That's not Hillsborough County's fault. This is a global problem, a global epidemic. And so on my original blog post article, there was someone that commented and said that, they were disappointed in the way that I threw teachers under the bus. And I just want to make sure that I'm very clear. I've never once thrown a teacher under the bus. What I've done is held teachers accountable. There are some teachers that do not follow procedure. As a team leader, it is my job and my duty to say something about that. And it is admin's job to do something about that. So when I'm calling people out for the stuff that they do that negatively impacts everyone else in the environment, that's not throwing the teacher under the bus. And I think this is the problem, is that we are so afraid of holding each other accountable, because I don't know what that is, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the perfect teacher and I was the best teacher that these kids could have. Yes, I made mistakes. Yeah, I wasn't always there with it. But you know what? My kids never had to question if I was there for a paycheck or not, because I wasn't. Because prior to coming into that job, I had my own thing. I still have my own thing. I didn't need to teach. And if you ask any of the teachers that work with me, they knew that. They knew that I didn't have to be there. It's our job to educate the future. And it's not just the teacher's responsibility, it's the parents' responsibility and the adults in society. But you know what? Y'all rather go to social media and y'all want to bash people that you don't even know, or bash people that didn't do nothing to you. This is why these kids are literally suffering. They are suffering on social media. And this is why I founded Stories in the Student Shoes. Stories in the Student Shoes is basically real life stories that are from my kids that I am posting anonymously to build awareness on what these kids go through, because they're placed in situations that are not best for them. And then they're then put into a school environment that's not best for them. And then you want them to succeed. And that can't work. And that will not work for these kids. And it has not been working for these kids. And this is why our kids are dying. You know how many cases of suicide that we've had with kids that don't feel like they belong somewhere, with kids that are moving from house to house and don't know where they're going to sleep at night, from kids who don't even know what their next meal is, but you expect them to perform and you expect them to excel for test scores and ratings so that you can get more money and more profit. And this is why all of this money and all of this energy now has been shifted to charter schools, because public school now is not profitable. And so charter schools are literally rising up to the highest bidder, because they don't have to follow the same policies and procedures that public schools do. And then just think about Title I schools that have additional requirements that they need to meet. It makes things difficult. I don't have the solutions, but I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and to do something and say something about it. I can't sit here and watch my kids suffer and not say anything. And some people say, well, if you really want to make a difference, then why don't you just stay? But y'all don't get it. I almost lost myself staying in an environment that I know is failing our kids. I can't just stay and be complacent with that and say, well, this is just how the system works. I'm not built that way. And so it is gaslighting for you to insinuate that I need to stay in a situation that I have admittedly said that is not healthy for me. I have gone to therapy, and I currently still go to therapy over the trauma that I've experienced working at this school. And it's not just that school, it's schools everywhere. So it's not that I'm trying to bash one particular school or I'm trying to paint a negative picture about a type of school. This is an epidemic, folks. This is a crisis. We are at a crisis point. We have to do something about it. Parents, you have to speak up and advocate for your child's rights. There are so many things that happen behind the scenes with paperwork that are legal documents that literally just go unnoticed and go untouched because parents are not concerned or parents don't know. But your child has rights when they are in school. And they are supposed to be in a safe environment, a safe place to learn. But there's teachers there that teach at the school that have ulterior motives. Some teachers are just dream killers. And they will tell a child, and there was a teacher at my school that told a child that they were going to drop out of school and they were going to sell drugs. That's not okay. These people are very toxic because they are unhappy and they're dissatisfied in their work because of the conditions that the system has placed them in. And now they are stuck in the system because, life, retirement, pension, all of these things that kind of forces them to stay in this environment knowing that it's not good for them. But I'm choosing me. And you can't penalize and punish me for that. Like I said, I'm doing everything that I can for my kids. I've always been hiding, and I never wanted to speak up because I never wanted people to view me as an opinionated person or someone that likes to start problems. I care about my kids, and I am devastated at how this global system has failed them. And it's not just my particular school, folks. It is schools everywhere. And I have to make that abundantly clear because I feel like when people say stuff, they want to nitpick what they say and try to gaslight them and try to invalidate their feelings. My feelings are valid. I said what I said. This educational system needs a reform. The growth of charter schools is growing exponentially. And the reason why is because they're not upheld to the same standards that have literally dismantled public schools. These new laws and regulations that they keep putting into these public schools further dismantles the public school system and increases and incentivizes charter schools to continue doing what they do. And with the power of choice, not everyone is able just to take their child wherever they want to go. They rely on public transportation and assistance in order for their child to learn. And they just have every right as everyone else to get a quality education. But the quality teachers are leaving Title I. That is a statistical fact. And they're leaving because of the poor pay, the poor conditions, and the extra workload that is required at these schools. That's just not a one school issue. This is a global issue that is impacting the entire United States. And it's something that, quite frankly, I'm going to keep speaking up about. And I'm not going to stop because our kids deserve better. Teachers deserve better. And this world deserves better. I want to thank y'all for supporting me. I had an outpour of Facebook posts and tweets and emails just supporting my decision, supporting my move, and willing to roll up their sleeves and help me. And I've accepted everyone on their offer because it's going to take a village to fix this. I can't do this alone, and I will not. I cannot. This requires everyone to roll up their sleeves, to have real tough conversations, because real change is not going to happen in the dark. A lot of people are saying, well, what can I do next? Speak up. Go to these school board meetings. Be involved in schools. If you are a parent, please be involved in your child's education. Please check their cell phones because these kids are being subjected to so much when they don't even have to be. We have trolls and we have these internet personas that literally all they do is want to attack kids. And they are dream killers. And this is what comes to kill, steal, and destroy. These negative people that are on social media are attacking our children. They are making them feel less than. And they already have situations at home. They already got situations at school. And then when you compound that with social media, it's a never stopping thing for them. These kids deserve better. These kids deserve better family environments. These kids deserve better family units. These kids deserve better education. These kids deserve more than what they're getting right now. So this is why I have to lead, to stand up for what's right. That's what God called me to do. I thank y'all for watching my video. I would love if you guys subscribe to my website. I'm going to be posting different student stories. And so if you would like to be up to date on each student story that I write, you'll get notified if you go to my website at biancagoolsby.com. And at the bottom, there's a newsletter form. Just put your email address in and you'll start getting emails. And every time that I make a blog post, or if I come up with a campaign idea, or if I get invited to shake a table or two, I'm going to let y'all know about my progress, because I'm not going to stop. Our kids deserve better. And you got to make the change to educate the future.